Hey guys, welcome to Quinn's Tree Farm, coming to you straight through the power of YouTube right from Cornville, Maine. Yep, you guessed it, we're going to do a spray video. I know people always are worried about spray videos and want to know what's going on with spraying and how to spray. And I am learning just as much as everybody else, and I am by no means an expert in doing this, but I'll try to be as clear and open as I can on how I get to where I'm at and what's going on. In the state of Maine, according to the state of Maine, Board of Pesticides, Christmas tree growers need to have an Ag Basic sprayer's license. That requires you to go take a test at your cooperative extension office, give the state some money, and they'll give you a license, which is good for 3 years. The Ag Basic is required for anyone who is selling $1,000 or more of product intended for human consumption. I had a long conversation with the Board of Pesticides Control that I took a little bit of umbrage to that because I said Christmas trees aren't for human consumption. And they thought about it long and hard and agreed that some of the stuff was confusing, but they pointed me to an older law that said that I needed the license because Christmas trees are an agricultural commodity. So they basically said, where you're looking, you're right, you don't need the license. Over here you do. And I don't have the time or the money to fight City Hall, and they could make my life really miserable. So instead of bucking them, I decided to kind of play along with them, which is one, a good idea because we are spraying chemicals on property and next to our neighbors and stuff. So I think it's good that we share what we're doing. And I also think it's important that we know how to handle these things because, you know, they can mess you up. Unrestricted and general use pesticides are much less dangerous, which is what we use. I do not or have not at this point used a restricted pesticide. If I were to do that, I would have to hire a company to come in and do that because I am not allowed to under my license. I simply have the Ag Basic. If I got the agricultural private applicator's license, I could spray restricted. At this point, I don't see me doing that. So what are we spraying today? We're going to ban spray the Christmas trees that have already broken bud, and I'm going to show you how I very carefully go around and try to make sure that I don't kill these little guys while at the same time getting the grasses down so they get as much sunlight as they can and as much nutrients as they can. Today we are going to spray a glyphosate gold mixture, and we're going to work out the solutions for each. I'm going to do a 1% mixture of the glyphosate, so 1% in 4 gallons of water, and then I'm just going to do 2 ounces per gallon of the gold in 4 gallons of water, so that's going to be simply 8 ounces. For the glyphosate, we have a 58% concentration, and we need to work out how much that comes down to. I found this really cool free calculator on calcoo.com, C-A-L-K-O-O, dilution calculator. And once you get used to it, it's really easy to figure out how many ounces exactly you need to make your concentrations. What we're looking for today is the volume before dilution. We want to know how much of this we're going to put in there before it's diluted. We know that we want a 1% concentration after dilution, and we know that this is 53.8% before. The volume after the dilution is going to be 4 gallons. So in order to figure out what we need, I type all that in, and it says I need 9.64 fluid ounces of 53.8 glypho to go in. So we're going to take this and we're going to fill it up to we're going to fill it up to 10 because I'm not going to do the math, but 9.64. So we're going to put 10 ounces in here, which will give us a 1% concentration. We're also going to do the goal at 8 ounces, so 2 ounces per gallon. Goal is the trademark name, but it's oxyfluorphen is the name of the chemical. Oxyfluorphen. Then I'm going to take my water. If I can get it going over here. Probably should have a hose for that. And then we're going to fill it right up. Okay, so we got 4 gallons in there. Okay, I hope you can see this. This is the last thing that I want to show you. Is this the pesticide applicator logbook. Another requirement in the state of Maine is that you log all the pesticides that you're putting down on the fields and log the information of the day that you did it and the weather. So we're Quinn's Tree Farm. Today's the 23rd of May. It's about 5 o'clock. We're over at Moody Field. It's a 1.5 acre field. It is not a sensitive acre area. Our crop is fir, Christmas trees, and we are spraying for a target pest of weeds. The wind speed, if you can see that scribble there, says less than or equal to 5 miles an hour. It's pretty calm out tonight, and it's about 70 degrees and clear. We had some major thunderstorms today, but it's clear now, and I noted that right about 5 o'clock. I'm spraying glyphosate. We put 9 ounces in. We're actually going to change that because we did a correction, so that's 10 ounces, which is a 1% mix, and we're doing it with a backpack. That's what the goal is. I gotta do the same thing for the goal. 5, 23, 24, 1700, 1800, take about now to do this. And we're moving again. 8 and a half, I'm just gonna write all sensitive. Trees, weeds. What's that equal 5? Remember that means the big number. 70 degrees here. 1700 is when we go to the time. And this is the goal. 2XL. Undiluted is 8 ounces. And I don't have a mixed ratio on that. I'll go back and do it at home. Alright, that way we'll do it safe. If you need, anybody in Maine, if you need these, you can get them at the UMaine Extension Office, or you can call the Pesticide Control Office, BPC, and they'll get this for you. And it's got all kinds of, plenty of, like that's going to last me a long time. Remember, the glyphosate is a post-emergent, non-selective herbicide that kills a lot of things. And that's the one that we got to be careful about spraying on our trees, big time careful, because that will hit the new growth and it will kill the new growth. Trees are very resilient, which is nice, right? So it might not like kill them dead unless you like really get a lot to it. But we want to be diligent, right? We don't want to do anything to harm these little guys, because God knows there's enough stuff out there. So we get our Ghostbusters backpack on. The goal is a pre-emergent and a post-emergent. And the reason why I'm putting the goal down is once these weeds are down, it will create a barrier so that new seeds won't germinate, which will help reduce the amount of times we have to come out and spray, and hopefully we'll buy enough time for this field that we won't have to come back out again the rest of the season until the fall. And then I will either do another pre-emergent simazine or another goal application. Okay, so as you can see, we did have some grass grow up here. The trees have broken. Some of them have broken. Enough have broken, so we want to be careful. So we get our wand out and I turn my machine on. And typically I start out with it very low. I like to keep the spray as coarse as I can. That way if there's any wind going around or anything like that, it takes right care of it. I have it turned all the way down to the lowest setting, and I'm gonna walk at speed to make sure that it gets out evenly. So I'm gonna try to walk at the same speed. I just put down to the point where I see that the material is covered, is wet, like glistening, and then we just move on. So I'm putting down a very little application. So we're just going to just walk along. And as you can see, I'm keeping that down and I'm paying very close attention to making sure that I don't hit the trees. Now I feel comfortable with the amount of spray that I'm putting down and my ability and skill that I don't need to block the trees. I feel like what I'm spraying down and what little bit might spill on is not going to cause enough damage. Like I said, they're very resilient and they'll do okay. I just don't want to really paint them. Oh, see, there's a guy, he didn't make it last year. So that's about as fast as I'm going. I'm keeping that as low to the ground as I can while trying to get that 18 to 24 inch application. And we just go down and around. This is a really good time to see what the fields look like with the backpack, and it's a great time to get exercise. If they're really inundated, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna make sure that every little bit's dead. The goal is to reduce the amount of weeds here, which in turn makes it easier to mow, reduces our mowing time because we're not going in and about the trees, and at the same time I'm getting the grass away from what I need to. Then stirring the soil up, and then stirring the soil up, and then doing that. See, so that was a mistake. So that little guy there probably gonna be pretty grumpy. So it's not 100% effective, but I think it is cost effective. And that's a big deal when it comes to integrated pest management. Read the labels of all of the chemicals that you are putting down on your field. Everything is in the label. It will say specifically, this is how you handle Christmas tree plantations. This is how you handle transplant beds. It's really important that you do that. The sun is shining. I'm in a tree field. You know, I'd really rather feel bad in Maine than feel good anywhere else. So there you go, my friends. I will see you soon.